Hey everybody, this is gonna be a new playlist I'm gonna start off, and this is just random thoughts, um, everyday life, things we encounter and things we go through. And when I when I have something um, just real quick that I want to share, I will bring to light. But this one is really this is something that we all face, and I want to take you to some scripture here. Um, and the reason being is because I am at fault with certain things, and it's not testimonies that I feel that I don't need to share, because the things that I stumble and fall on are between me and Yahuwah. But the thing is that we have to understand that um, the devil, Satan, cannot force us to do anything. Um, he puts the thoughts there, and sometimes, especially when you look in the past of how certain things felt good, and that were really pleasing, that you enjoyed so much. Sometimes he'll come in there and he'll put these thoughts in your head, and you'll end up going through it, and then one thing leads after another and after another. And with circumstances I recently just had, that has certainly been the case. And it's something that I have to deal with God and myself. So, but obviously, I'm going to take you to 1 John 2:16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. Now, see, I'm actually rebuking myself here. Because certain things came up this weekend, and I fell through it, and I let the flesh really overcome, and it's sometimes it can be very hard, sometimes it can be very easy to resist. And I know I'm working on my next part on the Armor of God series, on my Bereans Way messages, and what I did this past weekend is a strong example of what happens when you don't have that. And obviously, I suffered. I went through it, and that falls under the lust of the flesh and the pride of life. Things are built up. Sounds good. Seems good. Seems like there's nothing wrong with it. And then one thing leads to another, and leads to another, and leads to another. And by all means, I was overcome by it. And I mean, it's not an excuse. I mean, we can get down on our knees and ask for forgiveness, and yes, He will forgive us. But we can't just say, okay, well, He'll forgive us, and then we can just go on and on and on. Sometimes that is stuff that I struggle with, and we have to come to the realization that we have to crucify that portion of our past histories of what we might, because sometimes it does resurface, and it causes us to go into a backslidden state, which for me personally happened this past weekend. And we have to get back on the horse, and I have to get back on the horse, and I have to keep pressing on, and I have to overcome that. I can't be given in to the temptation. I mean, if you look at those three portions, I mean, those are all three temptations that the enemy comes with us, comes to us at. And, and we go back to Psalms chapter 10, I believe. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. certain things arise, and obviously if you seek after fleshly things, whether it's having a good time, which there's nothing wrong with having a good time, but if it's causing you to sin, then that that idea of a good time is flawed and it's wrong. And that's what I basically went through this weekend. And Yahweh was not in my thoughts. And that's just a perfect example of what can happen, which is why he needs to be on our thoughts all the time. And which is why also we, regardless of family members or whatever, this is why we also have to be separated, not to be equally yoked with unbelievers, because things that they do that might sound good to you, you want to be involved with it, and then it causes you to sin. So we just have to be really mindful of that, and really think twice before we set a plan in action of what we are going to do as far as having a good time or whatever. And like I said, I see nothing wrong with that, but there is a lot that can happen in the quote-unquote good time that could cause you and others around you to stumble. So that is my random thought, and I am sure I will learn from this, and I will press on. So anyway, you guys take it easy. Blessings, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Oops.